What is good, guys, man? Thank y'all for tuning back into the channel. If you're new, make sure you hit that sub button down below to be notified for every single video that I drop, man. And how you know you're notified is when you hit the subscribe button, you make sure you hit that bell. When you hit that bell, you press all. That bell should either turn white or black for you. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know you'll be notified. Now, this is the last and final part to a story time about her roommate who told her that he sold his soul to the devil. Crazy story. Go watch part 1 and part 2 if you have not already. I know a lot of y'all gonna be asking in the comments, what's part 1, what's part 2. Go look at the videos, they will be in the comments. You know, well, I might put a link in down below. But without further ado, let's get into it, man. This one is shorter than the other ones. Let's get it.
Okay, final part about my old roommate who told me he sold his soul to the devil and then started acting crazy. So as I'm walking him to this house that he says he's gonna be staying at, he runs in front of a car. And I'm talking about he waited until it was as close as possible and he just runs out into the street. And the car luckily swerved and didn't hit him, but he just stands there and he's smiling at it. And he turns as the car passes him and he's just smiling at the car. And the driver obviously is freaked out, gets out of the car and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's just smiling at him. And the guy was like freaked out enough and he's like, "You need to get some medical help." And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm making the right decision, asking him to leave. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, what are you doing? And I fully believe, like, the way that he did it, he intended to get hit and unalive himself. So at the end of this street is where this house is that he says he's going to be living at now. And the house is dark. Like, there's nobody home. He knocks on the door, there's nobody home. And he's just sits on the porch with his things. And he's like, "I'll just wait here until they get home." And I was like, okay, like, not even going to ask any questions. Like, at this point, I'm going home. So I go home. I go to sleep that night. Everything's fine. He doesn't come back. And I don't ever see him again, but things kept happening. I found another roommate. It was a friend of a friend. This other guy named, we'll just call him Jake. And Jake moves in, and I think all of my problems are over. And then one night I'm in bed, and I see a shadow outside my window. Like, it was definitely human shaped, definitely a person. So, I went outside, there's nobody there, and I go back to bed and I see the shadow again. So I'm like, I'm calling the cops. Like, I don't know what else to do. So I call the cops. They said, okay, we're gonna send somebody out. 2 cops arrive like an hour, maybe less than an hour later. And they're looking around my house with like flashlights and stuff. They're like, we don't see anybody. And I actually got really mad that day because one of the cops asked me, he's like, "Are you sure it wasn't a bunny rabbit?" And I just like didn't think that was funny. I was like, no, there's like there was a person outside my window. And he's like, okay, well, you know, we'll just keep an eye out and call us if you need anything. So they leave. Don't see anything again that night. Like a week later, my neighbor comes up to me as I'm like leaving for work, and she's like, "Hey, I don't want to freak you out or anything, but I saw somebody come out of your garage at like 4 a.m. this morning." She's like, "My husband was going fishing, like I was helping him load up the truck, and like we just saw somebody like open up the garage a little bit and like roll out from underneath it." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" We did have a garage on the property. I never used it. It was included in my lease, but it was gross. Like, there were spiders and snakes and stuff, so I just like never ever went in there. And I hadn't been in there in months. So I open up the garage and there is a mattress, a bunch of like to-go food containers, and anything that was in there that was mine had been like completely trashed. Like, there was like writing on the walls, all these weird symbols. So I called my landlord, I had him come change the locks, and I went to the store and I bought a pew pew. And this actually freaked Jake out, my new roommate, enough to where he came up to me and he was like, "I don't really feel comfortable living here. Like, there's a lot of bad energy, and I just like, I can feel it. I felt it since I moved in. I just didn't want to say anything because I thought I was just being crazy. But like, he's like, there's bad energy in this room." So I'm like, great. So Jake's getting ready to move out. I'm trying to find another roommate again. And as Jake's trying to figure out a new living situation, I'm at work one night and he texts me and he's like, "The roof caved in." This is the video that he sent me. Okay, so the full roof did not cave in, but you can see the ceiling absolutely did. That was my cat. And this was Dominic's old room. Okay, and this is after he moved out, but like, look at inside of the ceiling. Like, that is fully a handprint. So I texted my landlord. He attributed it to water damage, but like, to this day, I still don't know. Jake ended up moving out. Dominic kept like emailing and texting me. I eventually blocked his number. He still does text me. It's been 6 years since I lived with him. But he still does text me and like email me from random numbers and email addresses every, I don't know, 6 months to a year, I would say. And as soon as I get them, I just block. To this day, I don't know if it was schmugs. I don't know if it was like mental illness. I don't know if he sold his soul. that's just what he told me. And then as soon as he told me that, all this stuff started happening. So friendly reminder, vet your roommates, and you never really know who you're living with.
Well, man. Final story, man. Y'all comment down below. If you watched part 1 and part 2, and if you made it to part 3, after all that you seen it and all that you heard, y'all comment down below exactly what y'all would have done in this situation, man. Definitely, man. That's what I said was I would have moved out. After that, the roof caved in. You see like a weird handprint at the top of the ceiling. I definitely would have moved out for sure. Man, and she's still looking for roommates and stuff like that. I would have put a disclaimer on the rental site that, hey, it's a lot of bad stuff going on in here, so you know, you don't waste people's time and stuff like that. Dude was living in the garage the whole dang on time. But yeah, man, y'all definitely comment down below what y'all would have done in that situation. I definitely would have moved out. If I was her, I would have moved out. I would have ended that lease. I wouldn't even want to be in that house no more after I seen what I seen. First, he was standing at her bed looking at her. 2, he brought this weird lady in there. She didn't come out of the bathroom. 3, he's living in the garage with weird symbols and stuff going on. He was trying to off himself from another car. Yeah, the dude, I don't know what's wrong with the dude, man, but you know, yeah, definitely I can't even talk. Something was going on crazy. But I love how y'all interact in the comments and stuff like that, and y'all have y'all own opinion. So please put y'all opinion down in the comments down below, man. And listen, man, the end of my videos I always say stay inspired, stay motivated, stay grinding, man. I'm out of here. Peace.